are these people?
So Fanto, this is a extra, so clip accordingly. So
Yep.
shout out
Thank you
to
so
our
much.
editor, Fanto, who always is timely with getting these clips out, cutting this up, and then sending clips out to us for us to upload. So
Yep.
Happy New Year, Fanto. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Mhm.
So yeah, so this is an extra story that I wanted to bring up, and I actually was inspired from Twitter, as usual for me, in terms of where I choose my stories. And I saw a few people that I know of kind of mention this around New Year's. So this segment is called Heartbreak Day. Some of you might be wondering what the hell is Heartbreak Day. So this tweet from African and Black History, they write, in the Black community, New Year's Day used to be widely known as Hiring Day or Heartbreak Day because enslaved people spent New Year's Eve waiting, wondering if their owners were going to rent them out to someone else, thus potentially splitting up their families. The renting out of slave labor was a relatively common practice in the antebellum South and a profitable practice for white slave owners and hires. So basically, so you mentioned this to me, actually, I think maybe on Monday when I spoke to you that, and actually I didn't know. So typically, slaves will get the time between Christmas and New Year's off.
Right.
With the idea that this was going to happen on New Year's. So, so the idea is that,
things like
so this
Poppin' John, right, as a lucky New Year's thing, and you're supposed to get your black-eyed peas in, right? Which is a Celtic tradition passed down through, what is it, Gulliga, right? I think that's how you pronounce that.
Yeah.
Where it's like they,
Gullah.
Where it's like collard greens are the cash, and black-eyed peas is the change, right? So,
well, yeah, basically, yeah, collard greens and black-eyed peas are synonymous with wealth.
Yes.
Obviously, green for money.
Yep.
Black-eyed peas because plentiful, like a lot of it.
Yeah.
So,
and you grew it usually,
and then
you
obviously
grew both
that's
those
one
things.
and you grew both those things.
Like,
so
it wasn't just what Master let you have, pretty much.
Right. So we've played this guy before. I'm going to give a shout out to OneMicHistory. He does a lot of great short clips regarding anything related to African American history. But I think especially with this is kind of one of those hidden history things that you would not find in a textbook. And I think many African Americans may not necessarily know about Heartbreak Day or Hiring Day. So we're not going to play the whole clip, but we're only going to play about 5 minutes of it. But it's definitely worth looking through the whole thing. We will. I forgot to do it, but for this. But if you're interested, we'll link this video in the description if you want to see the whole thing. But here's OneMic who talking about Heartbreak Day.
Today, New Year's Day signifies a fresh start and a chance to make changes for the upcoming year. Celebrations differ across cultures, but the common themes are societal gatherings, fireworks, singing, music, parades, and shared meals, as well as a hope for a prosperous and peaceful forthcoming year. However, once again, we have another holiday, which is a double-edged sword for African Americans. Before the Civil War, the first day of the year was often referred to as Hiring Day or Heartbreak Day. These names came about because of the heartbreak of the situation of enslaved people that used to face on the first day of the year. Enslaved individuals were forced to wait and sit in suspense to find out whether or not they were going to be rented out to another family, household, or separated from their own families. This practice of renting them out was alternative to selling a slave and a beneficial way for their white enslavers and hirers to make money. The idea of hiring out an enslaved person was not uncommon in the South. Historian Alexis McCrossan would explain that Hiring Day was a large economic system. Most of these payments and debts were taken care of on New Year's Day. This activity did take place all year long, but it was especially concentrated to New Year's Day. On this day, contracts between buyers and sellers, as well as between enslaved and their owners, could start and end. These agreements would often be conducted between friends and family members, businesses, associates, and enslaved people were sometimes exchanged in town squares, courthouse steps, and even on the side of the road. It's important to remember that enslaved people were viewed not as a human being, but as an investment and an asset, and as such, they could be rented, used as collateral, repossessed, and sold. An enslaved person by the name of Lewis Clark would speak about this in 1848, stating that of all the days of the year, the slaves dreaded New Year's Day worst of any. But all of this would change on January 1st, 1863, and this was a pivotal moment in American history, but most notably for African Americans. This was the day that Abraham Lincoln officially enacted the Emancipation Proclamation. In the summer of 1862, after border states had turned down his offer for compensated emancipation, Lincoln had the realization that the key to winning the Civil War and uniting the country again was directly connected to the issue of slavery. And from that point on, Lincoln decided that dealing with slavery was going to be a crucial part of ending the Civil War. So, in September 22nd, 1862, Lincoln announced the preliminary Emancipation Proclamation. The basic idea behind this was that anyone enslaved in states or parts of states which were still rebelling after January 1st, 1863 would be set free. There was a catch, however. If any Confederate state decided to rejoin the Union before January 1st, their slaves would not be freed. As the day drew closer, enslaved people and abolitionists gathered together late at night where they held watch night events, often in churches or homes where they were safe. They kept vigil, praying and hoping for the time where the proclamation would become official. Watch night is a tradition that has its roots in Christian communities dating back to the 1740s, particularly between groups like the Methodists. It usually involved people staying awake throughout the night, praying and reflecting as they welcomed the new year. However, for African Americans, watch night had a deeper significance. As they prayed and sang hymns and read from the Bible, they awaited the break of dawn, which symbolized more than just a brand new day. It was a dawn of freedom that they had eagerly been waiting. This was a spiritual and historical turning point rather than just the start of a new year. It was a very important time, filled with hope for almost 4 million enslaved African Americans. As the years passed, Watch Night evolved to be much more than an annual remembrance of the Emancipation Proclamation and became a central event of African Americans' religious and cultural heritage. Black Americans would use their diverse religious affiliations and congregate in church on New Year's Eve for Watch Night services, and this would commemorate the spiritual gatherings as an opportunity to give thanks, reflect on the past year, and pray for guidance for the upcoming year. Early Watch Night services would include singing hymns such as Freedom's Eve, sharing of personal stories, overcoming difficulties, reading from the Emancipation Proclamation, and praying till midnight as the church bells rang to welcome in the new year, and it brings in a new spirit of determination. And this represents an unwavering faith and strength that's always been an important part of the African American community. Food traditions relating to New Year's Eve in African American community are also closely tied to.
Yep, because we talked about that pretty much.
It didn't stop there. Yeah, we talked about that, but yeah, but
I mean, cue the Oz. This was just ending Oz song, "Brand New Day." I mean, just I feel like that was in my head at the end of that. You know, it's a brand new day. Anyway,
but yeah, I just wanted. This was quick. I mean, it's New Year's.
Yeah.
But again, this is kind of one of those hidden history things that I'm sure most people won't know about the significance of New Year's Day for African Americans, but then also the significance of watch night services that my mom would go to every, like she did that, you know.
I've never heard of that.
But I think,
you know,
yeah,
watch night
like
services,
it's very common. Yeah, like, yeah, that's if you grew up in the church, that's a thing.
Not
So it's
my church, sir. Excuse you.
Well, I think just the idea of having church on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Right? Or midnight service. So, but I think especially within the Black community, it's the idea of, kind of symbolizing the idea of, oh, we're waiting for our freedom in light of what was happening to us culturally. In addition to like a new year, fresh start, and all that kind of stuff. So
I wondered if anyone in chat was going to catch that. The masturbation proclamation.
Yeah, I saw that.
Just a little bit of AI going wrong. It's okay, we get it. It's it has difficulty sometimes.
Yeah, I guess the AI wasn't very
decided.
Good.
It had his mind in the gutter. But
no, you guys didn't have your minds in the gutter. That was actually
But yeah, no. This is essentially like rent's due on the 1st.
Right.
Like, so we got to sell off some
I
of
have
our
to wonder
assets.
Right. I do wonder if this is the idea of a fiscal year, if it kind of comes from this idea of like, okay, the fiscal year is debts are due, or we're going to start the financial new year. Right. So, and we're going to, and so I actually wanted to see, I should look into that a little bit more. I do wonder if that has relation to
probably, to some degree. That's probably been around
my
for
guess,
a minute.
probably. Right.
Slavery
or it
probably,
just happened to be. But
yeah, it just happened to be part of that. So, but yeah.